The US government took a 10% stake in Intel, buying $8 billion of stock, and a 15% stake in a rare earth company, MP Materials, buying about $400 million of stock. So, which company is the government going to buy next, and what are they not telling you, us, all of the retail investors, about this new era where the government, in order to be nationally secure, is going to buy companies that previously were independent? So let's take a look at some ticker ideas presented here, many of which are already moving in the uranium, nuclear energy, rare earth, and lithium industry, and see exactly which is most interesting. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and let's jump in. Here are the sectors, okay? And these are the main tickers: CCJ, UUUU, most notably. Deanna is actually Canadian-based, so that's probably not going to make the list. This list is a little bit shoddy. I just got it from this person who's responding up here about this unprecedented opportunity, which I agree it is unprecedented, but we do have to be a little bit cautious about which ticker is actually US-based. URG is interesting as well, uranium-based ticker. If we look here, we can see that this has definitely had some interest, but all in all, it's basically just been, sorry, I have too much stuff on the chart, going sideways for a long time, and so it's not something that's super interesting. It's also a $2 stock. So, in my opinion, we want to have not penny stocks, unless you're willing to invest in like a dozen of them. These are the ones that are more interesting and that people talk about. Okay, uranium, fuel, and CCJ has been talked about a lot. It's gone up a ton, and since the April tariff lows, it has skyrocketed. Okay, 140% more than Nvidia. Is it a buy up here? Probably not. You know, there was a flag just a few weeks ago, just like every other company had a few weeks ago. You saw the SPY itself went up a few weeks ago, but it is interesting to keep an eye on if it does pull back with the rest of the market. The market is pulling back a little bit right now as well. UUUU people are definitely interested and zoned in on as well for uranium. It does seem to be holding here, so that's pretty bullish for UUUU. They explore and evaluate uranium and vanadium. I don't know what vanadium is, but presumably it's important enough to be listed here. And it's not listed on any of these other companies, so if that's unique to UUU, that's important. Uranium and titanium, UEC, this is also in the US, and people have been talking about this a lot for good reason. The stock has also been doing pretty well. Okay, earnings are coming up, so generally don't recommend or think it's a good idea to buy or even sell anything. Buy puts. Don't do anything like that right before earnings, in my opinion. There's also LTBR Lightbridge for nuclear fuel, and people have been talking about this materials company as well, ASPI, for nuclear. And all of these nuclear sort of picks and shovels for nuclear companies are definitely going to be interesting. They recently had little surges with a lot of the rest of the market. We talked about that. Thrust the last few weeks, there are a couple companies that haven't really gone. QUBT and CoreWeave were sort of the last ones on the list that haven't exploded yet. I mean, CoreWeave has sort of marched up, but so if these two don't go, then they're sort of signaling the end of this little euphoria period, and we actually might have a little bit of a pullback, to maybe as much as the 50 moving average. We'll see what happens, but it's important to be cautious. MP is the $400 million investment for 15% right here through the Department of Defense. So that's a big deal. And the 10% stake was actually using the CHIPS Act as well as a new investment. So multiple sources of funds, and this is about $8 billion for 10% of the company. So those are the relevant examples of why we're even looking at these. And Nvidia was also in the discussion for paying a piece of their sales, AMD as well, and that was super bullish for those two companies. So back in, it seems like forever ago, back in August, but Since then, if we look at NVIDIA and AMD, it's been going sideways, but NVIDIA was also up a lot, AMD as well. So those pieces of information were not super bullish for those companies. But if they actually are going to be taking a stake, that seems to be super bullish, especially for companies that have been sort of been lagging. So, that's another piece of information that I hadn't really previously thought about until I just talked about it out loud now, is for a company that's already up a lot and then the government takes a stake, I don't know how bullish that is compared to a company that, this has just been up, it's grinding up, has been basically a bottom bouncer, sort of left for dead company like Intel. NVIDIA did invest in Intel as well, so that's led to this sort of monthly explosion candle of 30%. But without those two factors, it's hard to say that this, would be up at all. So maybe what we're looking for here is companies that sort of have been left for dead. Not sure digging into Trump's own holdings, as of his last disclosure, are super relevant, because I can't imagine the government would take a stake at DJT. That would be absolutely insane. And I know those words tend to go together with 2025, but the rest of these stakes are pretty minor. So these are, I believe, the relevant tickers, despite this list being sort of a little loosey-goosey. So, USAR as well has had a little run, and is magnets are definitely on the table for investment. And it's sort of up, but it's also not nearly as up as much as, this is typical SPAC, sort of slingshot, messy chop, as much as these uranium stocks. So definitely a candidate as well. And it wasn't listed there, but I suppose the drone companies could be considered as sort of national security importance, government stake-wise. Not that drone exports from China are limiting drone production in the US. To my knowledge, I haven't heard any sort of reports on that, but those could be on the table as well, even though they haven't really been discussed. So those are some ideas. ASPI, LTBR, I wouldn't worry about these ETFs too much. And UEC and UUU, but keeping in mind these are already up a lot, particularly in the last few weeks. And CCJ is a big company. So if you like these sort of ideas, if you like this sort of fundamental analysis, a little less charty, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. There will be a lot of charty analysis. Don't worry if that's your thing. I sort of prefer to see what the company's stock prices are actually doing, as opposed to what the company is saying or what people are saying about the company's fundamental reason for being up. So go ahead and head over to stockscommunity.com. You can try it out for 7 days for $25 if you like this sort of content and you want to sort of chat about it in a little more measured, relaxed way that's more particular to your actual portfolio, your positions, and your ideas. We do have our course member live stream on a weekly basis, and if you join today, you'll actually be there for that first live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, New York, Wall Street time. I will see you guys in the next one, and as always, manage your own risk, and don't just jump in a company just because it looks like the government might take a stake. There's only been 2 stakes so far, Intel and MP Materials, and so those companies did skyrocket, but also, Intel was not worth investing in until that news, in my opinion, even though the NVIDIA follow-on investment did have a massive spike as well. Good luck, manage your risk, see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.